This is Eileen Jacobson. In my YouTube video, I talk about attachment questions, and I also give a scenario with Tom and Sarah to show how to spot those attachment questions and how they work in everyday interactions. So if you haven't seen that video, I would suggest that you pause this for now and go to YouTube and find the video. Um, just because otherwise these examples are not going to make as much sense to you. But if you have seen that, then let's go ahead and move forward and I can show you these examples and I'll give you a chance to practice with those. So also, since I use these same set of slides for my online class, there are going to be a few slides in the middle here that are not going to apply to our practice. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to zip past a few slides here in the middle of our practice together. Also, if we were in the middle of, if this was part of class, I would have the class members read the different parts in the example. Since it's just me, I will go ahead and read the different parts. So example one. So all of these are answered with yes to the questions, and then we'll cover ones that are where there's a no answer in the second part. So example one, Tara's meeting runs late. She had planned on stopping at the grocery store, but realizes she won't have time to do that, get dinner, and take their son to basketball. Tara calls Lance. Tara, hey, my meeting ran late. Are you already on your way? Would you be able to stop at the store? I'm not going to make it. Lance, ugh, Greg has never met a long meeting he doesn't like. I can do that. Tara, you're the best. I'll see you at home. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to think about that, and those three attachment questions are there on your right. So what Tara is asking Lance is, are you there for me? And so she's asking if he's her partner, if he's there for her, and he is answering yes, but he can stop at the store. So then Tara is giving him the reassurance that he is enough for her by telling him that he's the best. What if Lance had not been able to stop at the store? Then he may have had to say no to the stopping at the store, but still he could have answered yes to her request if he's her partner by maybe coming up with another compromise or offering to help her in some other way. So just because your partner makes a request doesn't mean you have to answer yes to their request in order to answer yes to their question if you're there for them. So sometimes it might mean saying no to the request, but saying yes to the question by coming up with some other creative way to be there for them. In this scenario, he was able to say yes to actually her question. Example two, Lisa is making dinner while Tom is doing homework with the kids. She intentionally leaves out the hot pepper sauce in the recipe because she knows it gives Tom crazy heartburn, even though she loves it. At the table, Tom notices Lisa adding the hot sauce to her serving. Tom, did you leave the hot sauce out of the recipe? Lisa, yep, that's okay. I can add it later. It's just as good this way. Tom, thanks. I appreciate it. Lisa smiles at Tom. Okay, I'll give you a minute to think about that. So the first way that Lisa is showing Tom that she cares how he feels is by leaving the hot pepper sauce out of the recipe. So this is an example of how actions can answer attachment questions just as much as words can. In fact, often I think actions are more frequently the way to answer attachment questions. So so that's the way that she showed him that she was there for him and that she cared about how he felt. And then Tom's reply is that he appreciates it, is showing that she's enough for him and that he appreciates her. And then Lisa's smile shows that he's enough for her too. Example three. Sarah notices that Kyle has a headache after work. He promised he would go with her to a book club. She has some social anxiety and feels more comfortable when he is there. As they are getting ready to go, Sarah gives Kyle a kiss. Sarah, you should stay home and lie down. Kyle, it's fine. I can go with you. I promised to do it and I want to support you. Sarah, I appreciate that you want to support me, but you look like you are going to fall over. You should lie down. It will be good practice for me to go by myself. I will hold you to it next time. Kyle, I could really use the chance to lie down. I'm not feeling great. I promise to go next time. Sarah, deal. Okay. I'll give you a minute to think about this one. Okay, so Sarah's, well, first, Kyle's offer to go with Sarah is an answer of that he's there for her and that he cares how she feels. And then Sarah and we also is answering for Kyle that she cares about him and that she's there for him and that she cares how he feels by saying that he doesn't have to go with her, that he can lay down. And then again at the end, when he agrees to go with her next time, then again he's saying that he cares. Again, I care that he cares how she feels and that he's there for her. So this one is just an action. When she's out doing errands in the car Grant usually drives, Julie notices it is low on gas. She knows Grant is going to the airport early tomorrow for a work trip. Julie fills up the car so Grant doesn't have to worry about it. So that one is um, Julie showing Grant that she's there for him and that she cares how he feels. Again, like there's no words to that one. It's just an action. Okay, I'm gonna go past a couple of videos. There's gonna be some an odd video. I'm gonna go past. Okay. So here's an example where there's some no responses. Example 1, Joe, I'm going golfing with Pete on Sunday. Tana, I thought we were going to spend Sunday together as a family. Joe, we are spending all day Saturday together as a family. I assumed a little golf would be fine. I'm not going to do all 18 holes, just 9 holes. Tana, you were gone all last week. Why are you trying to avoid spending time with us? Is golf more important than your family? Joe, what are you talking about? I kill myself off for you and the kids. So I'll give you a minute to think about that. Okay, so in this case, Tana is asking, are you there for me with asking about when she says, I thought we were going to spend Sunday together as a family. So what she's really saying are you there for me? What Joe is hearing is a criticism. He's hearing that he's not enough for her, that he's doing something wrong. So then he gets defensive. So he's not answering her question with reassurance. What he's answering her question with is defensiveness because he's hearing that he's not enough. So because he's defensive and making a case for why he's enough and asking for reassurance for that, now Tana is not hearing his question now. She's just knows that she didn't get the reassurance that she wants. So she's going to try again. So she says, you were gone all last week. Why are you trying to avoid spending time with us? Is golf more important than your family? So she's asking for reassurance again, now in a more escalated way. Are you there for me? And she's asking in a more intense kind of way. The problem is that it's sounding even more like criticism. So for Joe, Now he hasn't gotten his question answered. He hasn't, well, yes, he has gotten it answered. It's a no. He's got no, you aren't enough because it's sounding like a criticism. And so he escalates his defensiveness. And now he's even more defensive. So now Tana is feeling more alone and less reassured, and Joe is feeling more defensive and misunderstood. Example two, Alan. I noticed that you bought another shirt at Lululemon. Gina. It was on clearance. Alan. We agreed that to get out of debt, we were going to stay in budget. Gina. I want to do it in a way that you want to do it in a way that sucks all the happiness out of today. It's better to have some happiness along the way. Alan. But we agreed. Gina. I agreed we should get out of debt. I never agreed to do it your way. You just told me how to do it. You never listened to me. Alan. So now I'm a Hitler. Great. All I want is for us to have a future and not work for the bank. Okay. So in this case, Alan is asking, are you there for me? He was under the impression that they were a team, and then Gina's purchase is brought into question that, and it seems like she's telling him, no, we're not a team. I'm not there for you. And there's some of like, do you care how I feel too in there? Like he says, well, don't you care that I don't want to work for the bank? And it seems like to him, Gina's telling him no. And what Gina is saying is, well, you didn't listen to me before when you came up with this. You weren't listening to me then. So she's feeling like she's getting no answers from him. So in this discussion, they are both of them not feeling heard and not feeling like the other person is there for them, not feeling like the other person cares how they feel. So this is an example of how, if you asked Gina and Alan, what was this fight about? They would say it's about the shirt from Lululemon and not staying in budget. It's not about that. That's the surface topic, but what they're really fighting about is, are you there for me and do you care how I feel? And the shirt and the budget are just the surface topic. Okay, and then this last slide is just an example, little diagram of how those no answers can build into a spiral with it escalating. Usually the person who is asking the "Are you there for me?" and "Do you care how I feel?" question looks like escalation. And the person who's asking the "Am I enough for you?" question usually looks more like withdrawal. And so if they're both getting no answers, then the person who's escalating is asking more and more intensely and looks like criticism, and the person who is withdrawing the defensiveness looks more like defensiveness, and it feeds the pattern. So I hope this practice was helpful for you and that you can recognize that in your own relationships and use that to help spot those questions and give more reassurance to your partner. And if you're both watching it together, I hope that you can reassure each other and if this spiral has been part of your relationship. The good news is you can get it turned around the other way. Reassurance builds connection, and the more connection there is, the easier it is to provide reassurance, and it gets going the other direction, leading to more and more connection safety. So that is a possibility, and and I wish the best for you. Thank you for joining me for the video.